What? What meme? What dancing footless meme? I don't know which one that is. Toothless. No, we're serious people here. We're serious. We're serious people. Politics is extra depressing today. This week. So the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, which protects all Jewish people, apparently, they really don't care that much about all Jewish people, to be frank. They took down its glossary of anti-Semitism, including a word, globalist. All right, that was coded as a far-right word that the far right used to refer to like Jewish people, the global order. Hitler used the word globalist very often to talk about the Jewish people. So globalist usually means a Jew, okay? So DHS, Department of Homeland Security, always does posting that a Nazi would do. And the day after ADL took down their glossary of anti-Semitism, they're using the word globalist. So Homeland Security, communist, denied. Terrorist, denied. Globalist, denied. The day after. And this is the big criticism for me also of the ADL and of AIPAC and everything. They are an authoritarian far-right movement in America. Even Israel aside, they're trying to build a surveillance state in America, and they let like actual anti-Semitism reign supreme whenever Elon Musk and Twitter and Trumpism is involved. If Elon Musk turns Grok into super Nazi, literally mecha Hitler, and Elon Musk talks about, like, Elon Musk does Nazi posting every single day. The ADL never says shit. When you know he's throwing up Nazi salutes, ADL doesn't say shit. And now they're deleting terms like globalist because the Trump regime wants to use them. And they'll attack Zoran Mamdani for being anti-Jewish. It's actually insane. And it's endangering Jewish people, by the way. The fact that a majority of Jewish people, of Jewish voters in New York City voted for Mamdani, and they want to say he's anti-Jewish, is completely erasing those Jewish voices. It's crazy how they conduct themselves. To start off with that. Yeah. Zoran is handsome. Holy shit. Holy shit. There is a huge news story for the person who runs this account. Yeah, so they know about it. So our government has been completely hijacked by pretty savage individuals. So these are government websites. This is HUD. The radical left in Congress shut down government. HUD will use available resources to help Americans in need. They want to cut all these programs, by the way. They keep on doing this thing like, the Democrats are the ones who cut the programs. They are cutting the programs, and they're using the shutdown as a way to blame Democrats. Agriculture, due to the radical left Democrat shutdown. This is completely illegal, by the way. Completely illegal. Violating the Hatch Act a million times. No one cares anymore. Democrats shut down the government official White House site. This is all very illegal. You should never be using official government sources for campaigning and for slandering political opponents and for propaganda purposes. But they've been doing this for a long time. No one cares, but it's still really bad. And there is no comparison at all of any politician ever doing this in American history. There's never been a comparison for this ever. This is the least amount of respect for America any political party has ever had, pretty much. Oh god, dude. I don't know. I'm giving up. Virginia lieutenant governor candidate, Republican, sharing content from accounts that fetishized Nazism and sexual violence. Very nice. Typical Republican. U.S. citizen from Alabama who has been detained twice by ICE while working at a construction site has filed a class action lawsuit. So this U.S. citizen was detained twice. Leonardo Garcia, I don't know how to say his last name, but he's a construction worker who lives and works in Baldwin County, Alabama. Twice in the past few months, federal immigration officers raided non-public areas of private construction sites with no warrant and detained him for being at work. Now, the policy right now is if he's brown, take him down from ICE, unironically. They hate brown people in America. They want to beat the hell out of them. Today, J.D. Vance said we should let brown people die outside of emergency rooms instead of giving them care. And this is a U.S. citizen. Remember, they said, oh, they could do it the legal path. Yeah, this is a U.S. citizen. There is no legal path. They're a U.S. citizen already. And they're being tormented and abused by the ICE thugs already. Is someone trying to tokenize Dearborn, Michigan in chat? You're trying to tokenize Dearborn, Michigan, really? So there was a law signed by Ronald Reagan. I know Ronald Reagan is a far leftist now to Republicans, but this guaranteed that if you go to the ER, you're in an emergency, they're not going to ask for your citizenship, they're not going to ask for your financial status, they're not going to ask for your insurance card before they care for you. Because if you have people who need urgent help at the emergency room, then we don't want that person to die on the street or to be moved off to a different hospital just because they are of a certain economic class, because of their citizenship status. And we don't want that buffer period where you need to wait. Like, oh, imagine you go after a car crash and they have to scan, oh, where's the medical card? Where's the, citizenship information and everything like that. J.D. Vance here essentially advocates for letting brown people die outside of the emergency rooms.
Yeah, so this is a Democrat talking point. They say we're not actually trying to give health care benefits to illegal aliens, and here's why it's not true.
Healthcare benefits, okay, is insurance. That's insurance. It's not crisis care to stabilize someone at the ER if they get into a car crash.
There are two Biden-era programs that explicitly gave the taxpayer health care money to illegal aliens that we turned off when President Trump took over
in true.
January. Program
Which policies?
Number one is there's a lot of emergency health care at hospitals that are provided to illegal aliens. That was funded by the federal government. We turned off that funding because, of course, we want American citizens to benefit from those hospitals.
There's a Ronald Reagan law that requires this. And what they're saying essentially is if hospitals serve people and they don't check things like citizenship, they want to restrict federal funding in these areas, which is really bad, especially considering ICE right now is beating up and detaining U.S. citizens if they're brown and speak Spanish or have an accent or just being brown on a construction site. No questions asked at all. Just, you are brown. We think you're an illegal alien, as they say. We're going to put you in a construction site. Imagine you go after a car crash and they say, hey, do you have your identification? You're about to die. Do we have this person's passport? Do we have this person's home bill, their address, proof of address? What about their insurance card? Do they have a bunch of money? The Reagan law, which Reagan was back when Republicans cared about humans and were actually, somewhat Christian. Now they just don't give a shit about Jesus Christ whatsoever. They would spit in his face right now if he was alive. Although he does live in all of us, right? But yeah, you don't want a system where the hospital can just say, screw you, we're not going to care for you, you're going to be outside dying, or we're going to put you to another hospital, or whatever else. You want hospitals in a rich society where Elon Musk is almost worth $500 billion. He's almost worth $500 billion. You don't want people dying on the streets. It should be a point of pride. Even if you're a bad person, it should be a point of pride that that doesn't happen in your country. But J.D. Vance wants it to be a norm in America that we let people die.
Services not to be taxed and then to have those hospital services go to illegal aliens.
Yeah, then it would impact American citizens greatly. It would impact American citizens. ICE is right now in the same way. Really cool. It's so cool. What is today? Wednesday? It is indeed Wednesday. I feel... This reporter is going to ask KK Caroline if it was appropriate for Jared Kushner to, that's Trump's son-in-law, to work on matters that involve Qatar, UAE, and Saudi Arabia, which combined to give him $2.5 billion for his investment firm. And she just says, it's despicable.
Second thing, how did the White House decide that it is appropriate for Jared Kushner to be working on matters that involve
Trump's son-in-law,
Qatar, the UAE,
Jared Kushner,
Saudi Arabia, 3 countries that combined have given him more than $2.5 billion for his investment firm?
I think it's, frankly, despicable that you're trying to suggest that it's inappropriate for Jared Kushner, who is widely respected around the world and has great trust in relationships with...
Look how dumb she looks. Why is her nose migrating away from her top lip? What the hell's going on? There's actually like an inch more there than there was before, bro. How is she even speaking?
These critical
Can she show emotions anymore? She has more plastic than a 1,000-pound Lego set. What the hell?
Great trust in relationships
And she's
with these
lying.
critical partners in these countries to strike a 20-point comprehensive detailed peace plan that no other administration would ever be able to achieve. And so Jared is donating his energy and his time.
Oh, he's donating his energy and time. What about that $2 billion? What about that $2 billion he got? Donating his time. And by the way, Qatar, America gave Qatar Article 5 NATO security guarantees. So basically, it's not exactly NATO, but we gave Qatar a guarantee where if they're attacked by any country, we consider that an attack on our security, and we will defend Qatar from any threat. And Trump made, it was actually kind of funny, Trump made Netanyahu call Qatar to apologize for striking those Hamas leaders in Qatar. But like, what about America first? We can't defend Ukraine with those security protections, but we can defend Qatar because his son-in-law makes money from it? And this Barbie bullshitter wants to say, you're despicable for asking that question. Like, what kind of bullshit is this?
To our government, to the President of the United States, to secure world peace. And that is a very...
World peace, bro. Holy shit. Guys, we have world peace. Thank freaking God. We're going to the moon.
And this is a peace plan that has not just been accepted by Israel, but it has been applauded by Muslim and Arab countries around the world. It has been applauded by European leaders around the world. Virtually everyone in the world is supportive of this plan that Jared Kushner offered his time to help put together alongside our special envoy Witkoff, the vice president.
If you're a Trump supporter, watch this back and consider how stupid they think you are. How stupid they know you are. Because you're going to just like not care about this at all. You know, you're like, they lied about the math king during COVID. And then they'll tell you 1 + 1 equals FU. And you'll be like, yeah, it does. It's just crazy. That one got me happy. I love that one. Holy shit.
Blessed it as well.
So let me ask you about a provision that the Republicans are talking about quite a bit. I know you want to talk about and Democrats want to talk about.
Where's the video of Hakeem Jeffries with the sombrero?
Months ago, I was at the White House when President Trump announced his Liberation Day for America's trade policy. It was a landmark day.
Liberating American farmers from money. Dude. The tariffs are working so well. I hate Hakeem Jeffries, dude. Holy shit. Here's his response. JD Vance thinks we're going to surrender to the Republican effort to gut healthcare because of a sombrero meme. Not happening, bro. Okay, let's see the response meme.
The president's been posting some images of Leader Jeffries and Senator Schumer recently. You've said that you're interested in good faith negotiations with these leaders, but what message does that send? Is it helpful to post pictures of Leader Jeffries in a sombrero if you're trying to have good faith talks with him?
Oh, I think it's funny. The president's joking, and we're having a good time. You can negotiate in good faith while also poking a little bit of fun at some of the absurdities of the Democrats' positions, and even, poking some fun at the absurdity of the Democrats themselves. I mean, I'll tell Hakeem Jeffries right now, I make this solemn promise to you.
This is all you got? Oh, God, dude, we're cooked. We're so freaking cooked. We're so cooked. Where's Trump's video about Hakeem Jeffries? Why can't I find it? It's so annoying when I can't find videos on x.com. Such a shit website. Holy shit. I looked up sombrero. It should come up right away. But, like, the thing is about Democrats right now is they suck. And the leadership makes me want to give up on life. I'm not even kidding. Not life, but, like, politics. Democratic Party leadership is so incapable to meet this moment.
It's a disgusting. Fighting to protect the health. Bigotry will get you nowhere.
Oh my God, dude. This video is not funny, dude. It's not funny at all.
It's a disgusting video, and we're going to continue to make clear bigotry will get you nowhere. We are fighting to protect the health care of the American people in the face.
Like, when Trump makes the initial meme about you, you should know this if you're not, like, okay, Democratic Party leadership is brain dead. They are really incompetent. It's not ideological. It's not even ideas. It's really just they have really pathetic leadership, and the staffers suck too. When you respond to the original meme, like, this bigotry and racism will get you nowhere, there's lack of decorum, like, that's what they want. You realize that's the entire point of the meme, is to get you to sound whiny. Like, you gotta, and I don't know, there's no charisma here at all, but it's funny because he's actually offended. It's a dumb meme, and Hakeem Jeffries is acting actually offended. And liberals don't understand why this is bad.
It will get you nowhere.
Like,
it's a disgusting video, and we're going to continue to make.
It's disgusting, bro. It's a dumbass video. Call him a jackass. It's not a disgusting video violating our decorum standards in Congress, and the bigotry is going to get us. It's just so, like, you don't want to sound whiny and preachy versus Donald Trump. The point of his bullshit is to fill the airwaves with nonsense, and he wants you to respond in a whiny way. If you respond in a whiny way, then they feed off that.
Make clear, bigotry will get you nowhere. We are fighting to protect the health care of the American people in the face.
It doesn't help that he looks like a mannequin and he talks like a mannequin with the AI uploaded to it. Like Hakeem Jeffries, I cannot stand him or Chuck Schumer. And then we talk about, you know, people like Bernie Sanders and AOC talking like actual humans. And there's a big difference here, all right? There's a big difference.
Everybody, I was walking here in Washington, D.C., and who did I bump into? One of my favorite members of the United States Congress, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
And one of my favorite senators.
All right. Anyhow, as everybody knows, we are now in a government shutdown. Republicans are attacking Alexandria, attacking me. Why didn't
Bernie's so sexy, holy shit.
Hello?
Hello. This is the YouTube.
Oh, is this the YouTube about saying Dictator Trump thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like, and it's live and everything? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you're live.
Sweet, sweet. So, all right. I understand how these work. So you're saying that Trump's a dictator, correct? Or are you saying he's not?
He wants to be one. He's not fully a dictator yet, but he's trying to be one.
Oh, he's trying to be a dictator. Okay. Well, to be fair and everything, kind of give me your stance on it and everything, and I'll see how you would come to that conclusion.
Well, he's trying to get the military to invade American cities that he doesn't like, calling it the enemy within. He's assigning ideological labels to terrorist categorization right now for the federal government to be able to put liberals on lists to track. He threatens random states and agencies and whatever if they say something he doesn't like, with either federal contracts for the FCC, trying to get people off the air. He restricts funding. Right now, they cut a bunch of energy projects in only blue states. 20% of Biden's actual funding for these different factories, for these energy plants, 20% went to Texas. Texas is one of the states that were not included in these cuts. They are targeting blue states on purpose. All this shit with the military, FBI, trying to do ideological purity tests. There's a whole assortment of things that Trump is trying to do to maintain power for, I mean, I don't know how long, because he's not going to last forever, but, you know, for a really long time for the current regime.
Right. So, like, I mean, the second thing you said there about he's putting, did you say liberals on a list, or did you just say American citizens in general on a list?
Yeah, no. So the categorization, NSMP set. Wait, what? Let me find the list really quick. But there's a categorization, NSPM7. There was a presidential directive. This is titled "Countering Domestic Terrorism and Organized Political Violence," released September 25th. Now, the labels for identifiers for future domestic terrorism are being anti-capitalist, being anti-Americanism, being anti-ICE, pretty much a bunch of ideological indicators for liberals in America, which is pretty bad.
Okay. So, and are you also saying that no other president in history has done anything like this before? Is that right?
No, objectively, there's national security experts coming out and actually writing pretty good essays about this and op-eds and stuff about how this is the biggest overreach they've ever seen in their entire careers, especially with how expanded it is, and the way they're evoking like foreign policy and making it domestic. To track people in America who are just expressing their opinions, even putting people on lists. This would give them power to put people on lists who never even commit a crime. It's a really big deal.
Right. So here's my stance. Okay, now that I heard yours, and I'm all about healthy debate. I believe that we live in a free country, and one way we grow in knowledge in this country is by expressing healthy debate. All right? I was born Republican. I am moderate now, due to the fact that, like you just said, there is a lot of stuff that Trump is doing that's never been seen or done before. And, I mean, besides, how can you go from being a celebrity and never been in politics, and then all of a sudden you're in politics? He didn't, he wasn't a governor like a lot of other presidents. They did the political system and they moved up and everything and became presidents. So, very interesting on that path. So now I was going to bring up, now you were saying that the list thing about the liberals being on lists and stuff, it's quite sad on like how Bush and I believe Obama too with Guantanamo Bay would do the very, very similar thing to a race of people known as the Muslims. And you know that what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so
Hello?
like this is like the Patriot Act on steroids times 500.
Exactly.
That's the big concern here.
So that happened, right? Like with the Patriot Act, and
yeah,
they
but that
were
was
spying on.
The Patriot Act is like a small BB gun compared to this Javelin missile. Like there's no comparison whatsoever with how crazy this is, especially targeting American citizens with no like actual ties to terrorism or anything like that.
Right. Well, and also in the day and age we live in, due to technology and stuff, and this is what's also really sad, how Americans don't realize how much freedom they're giving away by putting all their information on social media, things like that, creating, like publicly just giving all their information on social media, which makes it easier for, government influence and stuff to be in your life. Because, I mean, if they want to look you up, they don't have to use a supercomputer. They can just look you up on Facebook.
No, but like the
like
surveillance technology of the government, and we've known already for a while, the Trump admin is leaking social security numbers of their political opponents. It's really not good. And our government with Doge, there's good evidence our information was uploaded to Russian servers for our entire government, maybe China as well. because Doge was a foreign operation to dissect our government from the inside. But people don't believe that because they don't really believe anything anymore. But like, it's not only for that purpose. There's a bunch of purposes, including tracking consumers that Elon Musk and all these AI companies want to be able to do. And they tore apart the final guardrails of our government to protect us from that. And all the Trumpers are voting in 1984 style dictatorship kind of thing, and ICE as well. Even ICE, the ICE thugs right now with their masking on, that's unheard of in any country that's free. You'd never have secret police in any country that has any freedoms, and that's a terrible development to see Americans who are okay with that.
Well, I do agree with the concept of ICE, with them saying that it's like a secret police. So I agree with you on that. That is very new. But wouldn't you say, and because we are a democracy, that Americans have brought this upon themselves because now you just said that this is like the Patriot Act, but not like the Patriot Act was a BB gun compared to this, right? You just said that, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So see, when the Patriot Act happened, we were not on social media and everything like we are today. Like, people's lives are openly public like today compared to what they were 20 years ago. And the thing is that you're absolutely right, because our society has evolved in such a way where everything's got to be on social media. Everything's got to be right in front of you. The government has stepped in and said, well, if people are okay with doing this, like, that's how they look at it, in my opinion. What's the big deal? People are already
Here's the big issue.
Public.
The big truth about American democracy is that a handful of educated citizens have kept this thing running for a while now. Trump was able to win off of very low information voters. He won low information voters more than any group, and also evangelical fundamentalist voters who are fundamentalist Christian and really obsessed with like Christian nationalism. They want to take America, they want to dominate America with like a Christian faith, like an Islamic state, but for Christianity. Those are the two biggest bases of voters for Trump. And all the people that Trump lied to about, like, I'm going to end all the wars, I'm going to end Ukraine on day one, I'm going to end Palestine on day one. They both got exponentially worse. He's bombed Iran for Israel. We're bombing Venezuelan citizens for no reason off their coast, trying to push regime change from Maduro in Venezuela. We're threatening our allies like Canada and Greenland with incursions. And like, that was never said during the campaign. And the low information voters that voted in Trump are not that engaged, other than for presidential election cycles after watching Theo Von. So if there ever was some type of big civic issue in 2025 or 2026, that's not a huge election year, those same people are not going to show up. So you have an issue where you have these very low information voters that voted Trump in. But if you need protesters to protest an abusive government to get him out, we're not going to have that from the same people, even if they do change their minds, because it's not a guarantee to have elections again. And that's a big threat when they vote in someone like Donald Trump, who threatens about using the military, but all they said was, he's joking, Trump just says things, and now he's talking about using U.S. cities as training grounds for the military.
Now, when you say he's using U.S. cities as training grounds for the military, do you have, of course you probably do, or you wouldn't say it, you seem like a very intelligent guy. You have is this in the news, or is this something that is being said about the U.S. being used as training grounds?
I would
for
look
what
up,
exact? What are they training for?
So they're trying to normalize the idea of military equipment in American streets. They declare national emergencies in places like Portland recently, where they say it's like a war zone there. Trump has said Washington, D.C. is worse than Afghanistan, unironically. And they want to justify bringing in every federal law enforcement and also National Guard, like federalizing states' National Guards. And they're pushing this idea that if they can keep on expanding power little by little and normalizing it, then eventually, let's say we have elections, they'll make all these threats. And then let's say they want to send National Guards people and ICE and FBI and all these different agents to stand outside voting areas and blue areas. That'll decrease voter turnout. Trump has told his people before in 2020, he wanted them to seize ballots and seize voting machines in 2020. He's probably going to be able to do that this time around. So we're going to need election security at all-time high. So like when he says militarizing the streets and using it as training grounds, he's talking about every federal agency. He's talking about joint terrorism task forces, all across America, which they just turned on after the Charlie Kirk assassination, to go after liberals, to track liberals. Essentially, there's 200, I think, joint terrorism task forces in America.
Right.
I'll probably do a more in-depth video on the specifics of that at a different portion, at a different time, because
So
it takes a long
now,
time to explain all of that. But yeah.
oh yeah, I got you, brother. But here's the thing. Now, not again, healthy debate. Now, we'll talk about January 6th probably later if you want to keep talking to me. But now, when you were saying that he is, of course, the list thing you were talking about, targeting liberals. Now, I'm going to ask your opinion about this. Do you feel when January 6th happened, okay, do you feel that when Biden was arresting people and putting people on a list to capture from January 6th, that would pretty much be the same thing? What are your thoughts on that?
If a group of left-wingers stormed the Capitol when Trump won the election, then I would expect them to put them in jail, 100%. If this was on the left, I'd say put them in jail. BLM, they went to jail. They were not pardoned. 0 BLM protesters were pardoned by Biden. 0.
Okay. Well,
so
that's
like,
why I was
yeah,
asking
and
you
they all
to
did
talk about that.
crimes,
Yeah.
and Trump lies about that. He's like, oh, they walked in peacefully. All the people in jail deserve to be in jail. They had their due process. They were found to do crimes. Trump released multiple child predators. He released multiple terrorists who assaulted police officers. He released people who had actual plans for sedition and for insurrection against the United States of America, multiple militia groups. So like that is a very different thing. Now the comparable thing would be if Biden took January 6th and then made a database, and this database included anti-trans, if you're anti-trans, if you're anti-gay, if you're anti-socialism or whatever, if Biden made that list,
that's kind of what I was wanting you to get to.
That would be the opposite.
Like,
but that we've never
audience.
had that ever before. Yeah, that's a good, like, if Biden did that, it'd be comparable, but it's not like, this is insane what's happening. And this was like based off of Charlie Kirk, which was a lone gunman that went crazy, who we don't even know if that was a liberal. He seems like a gay libertarian, if anything. So it could be ideological based off of like sexual preference, and because Charlie Kirk was very anti-LGBT. But like, there's no ties to the Democratic Party at all for them to say like Democrats did this. That's on purpose because they want to do authoritarian overreach.
Well, like I said before, when you were bringing up the list, why I don't understand, because my taxpayers go to this too, why the government would even need to make a list like that when everybody is on Facebook, when everybody is on social media, because literally
social media doesn't track your IRS account. So like, one big thing they'll do, and this will be the final thing before I go on to someone else, I appreciate the call.
Yeah, no problem.
So let's say they find liberals in America. They can run their tax returns more. They can bring the IRS to their door more. Everyone messes up somewhere doing something, whether it's a mortgage, whether it's an IRS form, whether it's a contract they sign. They can find some way to put anyone in a courtroom if they want to. If they could track all of us and use AI, they can make our lives really annoying. They can make our lives really expensive. They can make our lives really stressful. And this is the way that they do things like Hungary and in other light authoritarian countries. They use these current like official forms of governance to pressure people to act in a certain way. So like the FCC threatening Jimmy Kimmel with the threatening licensors for TV stations all across the country. Those licensees are going to say like, oh crap, if I air this content now, I'm going to be threatened by the FCC. It's going to alter my future behavior. So they're using every mechanism of the federal government, including like funding for schools, funding for infrastructure projects. If they have lists, the fear factor and this manipulation can be the big thing. They don't need to go slaughtering a bunch of liberals, like what happened in like Rwanda for their actual genocide. But like, they can do things like in Hungary to have a surveillance state to make life hell for the opposition party, for sure.
Right. And the last thing I'll say, because I know you said you were going to put on something else, somebody else. The one thing, the last time we had a president that went beyond 2 consecutive terms, you probably know who that was. He went for 3 terms.
Fascism, FDR.
Yeah, yes, FDR. And that was during a wartime, because we went into war, so we had to run another term. So it's going from your basis here, you feel that the only way Trump could get another term using democracy as a coin would be to go to war. And that would have him in for one more term.
Trump has liked that idea because Zelensky was there and mentioned how he is still in power because there's a war going on, so they cannot have elections. And Trump's like, ooh, so if you're at war, you can't have elections. I like that idea. Now, that's true for Ukraine because it's in their constitution if they're being invaded, and this is in their constitution because of Russia. Obviously, if they have 20% of their country occupied, they cannot run an actual election. But Trump loved that idea. He loves anything that gives him ultimate power. He views himself as a god, and Republicans give him that treatment. They bring him gifts all the time and praise. They treat him like he's Jesus Christ himself, and they forget about the actual Jesus. Now, that is it's a great time.
Yes. So, yeah, been very interesting talking to you because I know you've got to get to somebody else so you can keep the views going. And I'm sorry I didn't debate much. I actually just enjoyed listening to your side of it and seeing what and would you say that you are moderate, or are you more left wing or right wing, or are you more moderate?
I'm definitely pretty far left in terms of I would tax billionaires a very high amount, but I'm not very radical. I worked with Republicans on local policy issues. I've worked with Republicans on pretty broad policies. I don't feel the current Republican Party are Republicans or conservatives. They are fascists, in my opinion, which a lot of Republicans agree with that notion. Even like Bill Kristol and a bunch of them. So yeah, I'm a moderate. I would say I'm a moderate, but it's all in presentation and the way you approach people. Like I don't get super offended by certain things that people get offended by. I don't get offended by anti-Christian stuff or pro-Christian stuff. I don't get offended by I don't get offended. I have things that I fight for and care about, but I'll present as more moderate because I just want things to work. I want things to be good for people.
Absolutely. So. And a lot of people get that confused when it comes to our country. People think that we're a democracy when we're actually a republic. And
it's a representative democratic republic where you have elected officials. So there's but like Republicans will say it's a republic if they're not in power, but they'll say it's a democracy if they are in power. Like right now, if you don't do everything Trump says, you're anti-democracy. So it's really annoying to see. We just need people who are principled and want to get things done. We could do good things if we have good people.
Because Clinton was a Democrat. He did a lot of great things for America. And Reagan was a Republican. He did a lot of great things for America. What I feel like right now in our country, and I'll end with this so you can get on, the problem with our country right now, in my opinion, is too much being public with a lot of your social media, and they're not getting back to the basics that people need to understand, that your freedoms are for sale. And that's the biggest issue with the country right now, because they feel like that they can just sell their freedoms, our American freedoms, and like this whole thing in Israel and everything. People right now are scared because they feel like Israel is, and which they are, they're causing genocide over there. All right. And it's not really the Israelis. It's the Israeli government that's in power doing it. And it's being taught over there. What makes us in 10 years, we might have a person or a president in power like that even now say, hey, we need to just genocide this whole group of people. Because
Israel's buying TikTok pretty much. Israel's like buying TikTok almost. They do have good spy networks, and Israel does do a lot of interesting things with propaganda. So does Russia, so does China, so does India to a lesser extent. A bunch of countries, Iran, Qatar, they all have their own. They're all picking America apart piece by piece, and they're using Trump to do it. They're paying him off. But yeah, thank you for the call.
Yeah, no problem, brother. You have a good day.
Right. You as well. Have a good night. See you. People like that don't exist. Please drop a like, comment, subscribe. If you can support the channel through Patreon, I have a Patreon link in my description. It's a monthly, I think it's like $5 a month. Really helps me do independent commentary. That's the best way to donate. Best way to donate if you have a chance. Patreon. Thank you for Patreon members. I'll start reading names once I get above 10 members on Patreon. 10 paid members. Thank you guys a lot. Really appreciate it. I'll do one more caller before I go to bed, since I only stream for an hour now.
The wireless customer.
Nice, dude. Big fan, they say. Hello?
Hello?
What's up?
Hello?
Hey, what's up? Hello. Okay, well, no one's calling in, guys. What a shame, what a shame. The judge a life that you can change. The choir sings, the church bell rings. What a shame, what a shame.
Agree on what should be funded.
Thank goodness we have Democrats.
Republican and Democrat kiddies cannot agree on what should be funded. Democrat kiddies want you to have health care. Republican kiddies do not.
No, I'm pro this. I'm pro this. I am so pro this. You got to talk to Americans at their level, okay? This little kitty wants health care. This one doesn't. I'm pro
Republican
this, okay?
kiddies control the Senate, House, and the White House. Cannot agree on what should be funded. Democrat kiddies want you to have health care. Republican kiddies do not. Republican kiddies control the Senate, House, and the White House, so they're using that to cut your health care and give money to billionaires.
I hate this, but we need it. We need this level of communication, because if you talk normally, you're gonna miss a whole demographic of voters, guys. I'm telling you, we need
Republican
this.
kiddies do not. Republican kiddies control the Senate, House, and the White House, so they're using that to cut your health care and give money to billionaires. Democrat kitty tries to negotiate, but Republican kitty keeps running away. He has a vacation to get to. Uh-oh, suddenly the money you pay for your health insurance has tripled. Thanks, Republicans.
I am okay with this. We're sending money to Argentina right now, by the way, guys. Argentina is getting our money. Argentina is getting our money because Argentina is corrupt and right-wing and has their crypto coins of corruption with Elon Musk and Trump. So we're giving them money too at the same time. But the kitty government, I like this. Kitty explains. We need this. How else do you talk to Americans? All right, this is the level they speak at. We need this. I'm telling you, we need this. If you don't like it, just let it wash over you. Let it wash over you. Let the cringe wash away the pain. I would debate Republicans on the shutdown. I don't know. It's just... What day is it? Is this the person that was calling? I think this person called.
Hello.
Hello, I'm giving you a call back. This is that YouTube show you sent a message to.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, good. How good? I'm a dumb Trump supporter, like you said. So let's talk about it.
Nice. Yeah. Do you want to start on a topic?
No, go ahead. I mean, this is your show. You seem to be the professional, so I'll just kind of, respond with you.
How do you feel about ICE agents not identifying themselves and having masks on?
Okay, I mean, that's not the first time people have done something like that. Like, you have people that are DEA agents, narco agents, undercovers. They go on raids and they have masks on. So what's the
Well,
problem?
that makes sense. No, that's different though, right? Because right now we have immigrants, for example, going to the courtroom, so immigration court, and you'll see 20 ICE agents with full masking on, looking like a bunch of goons, like a goon squad. And courtrooms, like, we want people to go to the courts, right? So I don't know why we have all these scary agents with their face maskings on. Like, if they're going after a gang, for example, undercover, like you said, that makes sense. But I don't know why they're in my community with these coverings on their faces, is my big thing.
Okay, you want to know why? Because people are going to dox them, people are going to attack them, people are going to attack their families, so they're wearing masks so crazy people don't attack ICE officers.
So if a federal agent comes to your door, do you think they should be able to have a mask on?
If I did something wrong and they got a warrant or something, or if they need a warrant, then yeah. If I'm
What
selling
if they
drugs,
say... Okay, so ICE gets no warrants. They don't care about that stuff. So if the government wants to go to your house and just accuse you of a crime, they can have masks on and tell you to come with them and not identify themselves?
it happens all the time. Like, it happens to drug dealers.
So
DEA raids your house. Yeah, they come in with masks, undercover cops, all that stuff.
So you think it should be the standard that the federal government can have unidentified agents to your front door with no identification, or just like walking around town looking for people to grab up, and hopefully they're not here legally?
Well, here's the thing about that. I mean, and I'm just talking about in general, because you have to add in the fact that, these agents are in danger from the public, from being doxxed. I mean, can we agree on that?
No, I don't agree at all. I mean, we have judges, for example. Trump has posted pictures of judges he doesn't like and their entire family. He's picked out daughters of judges and put pictures of them on his social media. Well, no, because judges being targeted by the president, that seems like a danger, isn't it? So should every judge have a mask on and be, unidentified?
Well, I don't know. That's kind of up to them. Well, let's stick to the ICE agents because
I disagree. I don't think they should be able to have a mask on. They serve us. They serve us. They have the job. They sign up for that job. ICE, for them, they're allowed to carry guns. They're allowed to carry a bunch of these pepper rounds as well. They could break down your door. They've blown up the doors of American citizen households already. If they have those authorities, I want there to be some transparency there. And I think any freedom-loving American should probably agree.
So you think we should definitely take the mask off ICE agents?
Unless if they're going for like a super serious undercover transnational gang raid or something, yeah. Like we've seen on college campuses, like immigrants being detained who are here illegally because they criticized Israel, a different country that's not even America.
Well, okay, I'll disagree with you there. I think that they should have the right to wear masks to protect their identities. That's my personal thought on it. You don't like it? I mean, I understand you want to disagree. That's cool, but I'm just saying.
Do you understand why I disagree, though? Why I don't want the federal government to have unidentified agents walking through my community? And like, let's say, like one thing that's been happening, for example, they don't identify themselves because a lot of them are, for whatever reason, they don't identify themselves. Okay, so there's people posing as ICE agents, grabbing up women, for example, women and children. They say, "I'm ICE. I get to take your wife." Because I accused her of being an illegal immigrant, and I could detain her, put her into a facility. So we've had copycats of ICE because they don't identify themselves, and people don't know, like, is this someone breaking into my house? Is this a robber in my community? Is this a gang in my community? Or is it federal law enforcement? And in my opinion, that puts ICE in danger too, having those standards, because if they're not trusted by communities, if we don't know who they are and they're grabbing us, it seems like that would make it more of a likelihood if they get assaulted or someone uses their Second Amendment to defend themselves. I think on a whole, a bunch of levels, it's bad,
No, I'll agree with you. Somebody impersonating a federal agent for their own nefarious purposes is a bad thing. But how often does that happen? 1% of the time, 0.5% of the time. So I don't think it's
the same goes for immigrants doing crimes. It's like immigrants have a lower crime rate than American citizens, but you would not use that logic there.
That's not necessarily true because we don't necessarily know that because crime happens within their own community, and if somebody from the immigrant community has a crime done to them, they may be afraid to report that. So that whole thing about
that's why sanctuary cities are good.
Well, now you bring the sanctuary cities over there, and then you more so invite the criminals over to the sanctuary cities.
But you just said, but think about that. You just said that people are afraid to report crimes to the cops if they're not here legally. Sanctuary cities, the purpose is being safe. In sanctuary cities, people are safer because immigrants call the cops, and cops are not going to try to deport them, and they know they can call the cops. So actually, it's worse for criminals in sanctuary cities.
Well, I would say it's better for criminals in sanctuary cities because they're being protected because those sanctuary cities don't want to work with ICE. Like you look at Chicago, they let a lot of immigrants. They work with ICE?
Well, yeah, they work with ICE.
Well, not in the capacity that they really want. I mean, Tom Homan,
but they keep people safe. The cops in these cities keep people safe, but they're not going to work with ICE on detaining a deli worker or someone working construction somewhere. No, they're going to go after actual criminals. But ICE wants to deport a bunch of workers.
Well, no, because Tom Homan said from the beginning, he said, hey, we want access to the jails. When you arrest an illegal immigrant, let them know they're in the jail so we can come and get them from the jail so we don't have to go out into the community. Now, the Democrats, they say, hey, we're not going to work with ICE at all. Why they got ICE going over there.
If someone's in a jail cell in California, they commute them to ICE. There's over 10,000, I'm pretty sure, in the past few months that California has commuted to ICE if there's criminals. But we don't include people who are here undocumented as criminals. Like if you look up California numbers, In California, if someone commits a crime and they're in a jail cell, they will go to ICE if that person's not here legally. But what they're not going to do is tear through communities to find someone who's here and undocumented, who's working at a deli, like I said, or who's working a job somewhere just surviving, because they're not really hurting anybody. And now, if you want to say that they should be deported or something, we could have a conversation there. But we don't need to have local law enforcement doing bullshit ICE tasks. Those goons with their mask on can do that job themselves. I don't want my police officers being concerned with that. They have to solve actual crimes.
Okay, well, that's another thing I'm going to disagree with you on, because I've seen several cases in Boston where people have been arrested for felonies and then they've been let go before ICE has been able to get there. So what do you say about that?
I don't know about those cases. It doesn't seem very likely. I know
there's a lot of them around. There's a lot.
Yeah, I just don't really think so. ICE has a very low crime rate. Boston has a very low crime rate.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, those are some situations that happen in Chicago also. It happens in a lot of sanctuary cities.
Oh, wait, they posted bail?
No, somebody will get arrested for something like a felony, and they'll have a deportation order, and instead of telling ICE, hey, we got this guy that has a deportation order, come and get him and put him in ICE custody, since the sanctuary cities don't want to work with ICE, they'll just let the person go back into the community, and then, now ICE has to go into the community to find the person, and then when ICE goes into the community, unfortunately, there's collateral damage. Maybe people aren't criminals, but they are here illegally, and because ICE has to go out into the communities, and those people are around, they end up being collateral damage.
All I'm saying is that local police should not be worrying about immigration and customs. They should not be worried about deporting people who are not committing actual crimes. Now, I don't know about these.
If they have a
I don't know about these
deportation
stories. I don't know about
Now,
these
if they
stories.
have-
No, even for that, they can notify ICE. But if there's a procedure that keeps people safe, so let's say someone jaywalks and they're not here legally, I don't want my tax dollars spent on beating that person up or working with ICE. I really don't care about that. If someone's doing actual violent crime, which they do commute and work with ICE on those. But my main purpose is that, my main argument is that sanctuary cities, it's a safer environment for everybody. If someone's being trafficked, for example, in New York City, there's a much safer chance for them there versus a state that does not have sanctuary protections of being saved, is all I'm saying. But my big concern here, largely, is in my community, I don't want to see federal agents walking through town. I don't want to have them here, and I don't know who they are. I can't see their faces. I can't see their badge. They can just grab someone into a van, say, I think you're illegally here, and take you to a detention facility. I don't want that in my country. That happens in Russia and China. I don't want secret police in America. That has never happened before in American history for general, federal law enforcement. Like you said before, special task forces, for sure. They should have a division for that. But even FBI agents don't come out with masking on. If they go check out, let's say someone posts something on social media about attacking a politician, and the FBI checks up on them, they do not wear masks for those. If you look in Washington, D.C., when Trump took control of D.C. with federal law enforcement, the ICE agents there and DHS were the only ones wearing masking. You saw DEA, you saw FBI with no mask on. So this is very unique to the immigration stuff.
Okay, well, I mean, to me, it doesn't bother me if I see police officers with masks. I'm not a criminal. I didn't do anything wrong. I just walk right past it. It doesn't matter to me,
Wait, should they be able to go into your house with no warrant?
You need a warrant to come to my house. I'm a citizen. So.
But they don't care. No, but they've blown up American citizens' doors because this is what the law says right now. This is what the Trump admin is arguing. It's a whole Anne Frank situation. If they say you're hiding an illegal, then they can blow up your door. If they claim you're hiding an illegal, they can blow up your door. And that's another big thing that I'm worried about. Because let's say a Democrat gets in the office, and they have the authority now to just blow up doors of any citizen with no warrant, and there's no accountability measures. And I complain about this no matter what. Like the Patriot Act, there's some overreaches there that I don't like. So you could say that I've done nothing illegal, but the same can be said for I don't know, infringements on the Second Amendment. Oh, you did nothing wrong. Who cares if you have advanced security checks and you have to get a license and you have to do all this special stuff, or you can't have an assault weapon or whatever they want to say. You still care about that freedom for other reasons, even because we're wary. The big fear is government overreach. Even if you think you're not doing anything wrong, it's just thinking about what weapons does the government have to go after you.
Well, I mean, again, I don't have a problem with it. I think, hey, when you let in so many illegals, some people say it was 12, some people say it was 15, some people say it was 25. unfortunately, there has to be an overcorrection. And unfortunately, there's some collateral damage. The whole thing with the mask thing doesn't really bother me. It happens all the time. So what happens if they take off masks? Because you guys got a lot of crazy people here, and then ICE agents start getting assassinated. I mean, you already saw they've been shooting at ICE facilities. The people on the left are really out of control. So the mask thing, for their safety, doesn't bother me. Some people don't like it. Well, I don't like the fact that left-wingers are shooting ICE agents either. So I think it's a compromise.
Wait, where did a left-winger shoot an ICE agent?
I mean, well, they attempted to shoot an ICE agent and ended up shooting two. This was the other day. Well, they shot,
There's no proof
two
they were shooting
detainees.
ICE agents. They killed 3 detainees. They shot no ICE agents that day.
Okay, well, they probably meant to, but the
How
van
can you
was blacked
confidently
out and
say
they
that? How
couldn't
does someone? Why did they killed 3 detainees and killed themselves? And you're
Right.
confident enough to draw that compare? Do you think if let's say ICE comes to someone's house with their masking on, and they want to take a woman in, and they don't identify themselves or anything, they have their masking on, they have warrants. Let's say ICE does this and says, "You got to come with me." Should that woman be able to use her gun to shoot them to protect herself?
Absolutely not, because they even though you can't see their faces, they have HSI or ICE insignia on their clothing, so you can see that they are ICE agents.
So you're saying that if someone comes to your house and a woman's
with police
there,
gear on, with police gear on.
the person who assassinated the Democrats in Minnesota had police gear on. You could just buy police gear. So like you can come with a mask on and no identification and take someone, and you can't defend yourself.
Okay, so basically you're saying that ICE can't do their job then.
So you're telling me ICE can't do their job without having their faces covered and without identifying themselves to anybody?
Well, they're identifying themselves with their uniform. And again, like
the
I said,
uniforms they can
and a
just
small-
buy. I
and-
think they should
and-
have actual ways to identify themselves that are official, and we can actually track, not just like
Okay.
a uniform that says the word ICE on it. Anyone can buy that right now on eBay.
Okay, well, how do you propose they do it then? Without taking off their mask, because they got to keep the
They
mask on.
did a bunch of deportations under Obama, under Trump, and under Biden. They've done tons of deportations the past 20 years without having masking on and attacking random people.
Well, yeah, it's a new age, People are doxing
It's a
now.
new
putting
age.
all- yeah,
people
are
have been
doxing people.
doxing. People have been doxing people. Law enforcement during Rodney King were under more heat, and they did not wear masking.
Yeah, but they didn't have the information age that we have now.
You think that police during Rodney King were in a less tense situation now, or than we are now?
Well, I mean, I wasn't around during that time, so I can't say, but
My big
I'd
thing
probably say
is,
it's a little worse now. I would say it's a little worse now.
I feel like in a country where we have a Second Amendment, if I have people come to my door and they don't identify themselves and they don't show their badges and they don't show their faces, then with the Second Amendment, you should be able to stand your ground and defend yourself, in my opinion, whether they're ICE or whatever. How would I know if they don't identify themselves? And you're saying
so-
that you disagree with that.
So if DEA comes to my front door and they try to, break into my house with a supposed warrant, I should be able to shoot them too? Because I don't know. Maybe they bought it off a lot. Maybe they bought it off eBay. So I should just be
If
able
they
to
are
go
wearing
let it
full
rip.
masking and they refuse to identify themselves,
Well, that's what they do already. They got masks on. They say FBI, DEA, but I can't see their face. I don't know. Maybe they bought it off of Amazon. So should I be able to shoot them?
if they have plain clothes on and they don't identify themselves, yeah. If they don't identify themselves, yeah. But if they do identify themselves, if they do say, we are ICE, we're here to do this, to carry out this warrant, to go after this person, then yeah, that's 100% justified. They could do that. But if they don't do any of those things to identify themselves, then I think people should be able to defend themselves. Because what if it is some crazy person? Because the thugs, the cartels dress like ICE agents now, or ICE agents dress like cartel members. So how can we tell them apart?
Oh, okay, so just so I got this straight. DEA agent comes to my door, mask on, I'm DEA. I can shoot him, right?
If you ask, identify yourself, and they don't respond, if they stay silent and they don't show their faces or identification or a warrant, and you're a random civilian,
I should be able to shoot them. That doesn't make any sense.
it's the same as any random person knocking on your door. How do you know if they're, a law enforcement or not? That's one of the points of warrants. How do you know? So you're not allowed to defend your home at all. So you don't believe in the Second Amendment.
I do believe in the Second Amendment.
So how do you know if it's a cartel member versus a ICE agent if they don't identify themselves, though?
I mean, I don't. I just gotta trust them, I guess. I mean, you know, some black SUVs roll up, they got masks on, they say FBI, we're raiding your house. I don't know. I should just be able to whip out and start shooting then, because I can't see their face.
No, even that is more identification than ICE gives. Many times they're wearing their plain clothing, so they don't even say what they're there for whatsoever. They just say, get on the ground, come with us. They don't give a reason for arrest. They don't give a location they're taking people to. They don't feel a need to. They just beat people up and put them in a detainment facility. The big thing is, like, under what you're saying right now, pretty much any person can attack you and say, I don't know, buy a police outfit, and you just can't defend yourself. I just feel like either, I don't know, I feel like you just don't believe in the Second Amendment that much, in terms of self-defense at least, because you're saying the federal government can just, like, do whatever they want at this point.
Well, we can agree to disagree, but my stance on that is the mask stays on, the deportations continue.
Do you think
But we can agree to disagree.
Do you think Democrats are responsible for the death of Charlie Kirk?
With their rhetoric, yes.
Which rhetoric?
Well, when you come over here every day and say these guys are fascists, these guys are Nazis, and in the Nazi thing, I don't even understand the Hitler and the Nazi things, because Hitler killed 6 million Jews, and
But J.D. Vance called Trump a Nazi. Trump called Kamala Harris a fascist. Was Trump calling for violence when he called Kamala Harris a fascist?
Was he? You know, you might have got me there. You know what I mean? You might have got me there. But I don't think he was. But, you know, these Democrats, man, they're way out there.
So it's
you know,
bad if Democrats say it, but not bad if Trump says it.
I don't even remember hearing Trump say that. I mean, he didn't call her.
He said it a lot. He called her a communist,
called
Marxist, fascist, socialist at some point too, and then he called her a fascist like 4 times the one day. He called her a lot of crazy things. Also, the El Paso shooter in Texas in 2019 under Trump's administration, that shooter in Walmart went to go kill Latinos in Walmart, and he was citing Donald Trump quotes about being invaded by a foreign invader. And he was a Trump supporter. So, like, are you responsible for that person, that crazy person who shot up that grocery store or that Walmart in El Paso, Texas? Are you responsible for that because he was quoting Donald Trump's rhetoric about immigrants?
Am I personally responsible for that?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't feel because I never said that, so I don't feel I can personally be responsible for it. I mean,
so,
look,
like,
all right, you got a good point, because a lot of these people are crazy, and, you know, more of anything that causes these crazy shootings are the SSRIs, in my opinion. So,
well, I don't have any evidence of that, but, like, did you see the Mormon church in Michigan that the Trump supporter shot up last week or a few days ago? I forget when.
I did. It was terrible.
So, like, that's a Trump supporter.
But did he do that because of Trump, or did he do that because he just hated the church?
Well, a lot of radical Christian nationalists, like evangelicals, really hate Mormons. Mormons have been attacked a lot in American history. So there's a chance. I mean, the Charlie Kirk shooter was from a Mormon family. I don't think he was a Mormon anymore, but he's from a Mormon family. There's a lot of disputes there. I'm not really sure. We don't know what he actually said, but, like, the same goes for Charlie Kirk's assassin. In my opinion, looking at his, like, chat logs and everything, he seems like a libertarian, like maybe a gay libertarian. He's definitely LGBT something, which I would never blame all gay people, just like I wouldn't blame all Trumpers, right? I would never blame all Trumpers for shooting up that church, the Mormon church, or the El Paso, Texas shooting, or the Buffalo, New York shooting, where a guy went to go shoot just a bunch of black people in Buffalo, New York. I would never blame Trumpers for that. It's just really not good to me that Trump and his friends said the Democrats caused this. Liberals are causing this, when Democrats are, like, the most, like, pro, or, like, the most anti-gun, anti-conflict party as well. I mean, sure, in politics you throw things around, but I think you even admit that you know, Trump has said really crazy shit about Democrats as well. I'd say even crazier, much crazier. Even as much saying that he hates his enemies, he wants to kill the enemy within America, referring to his political opponents. So I don't think it's fair to really blame or to make everything political. We should probably just critique the language itself if you have a problem with it.
Well, yeah, but here's the difference, right? You know, when somebody on the left side dies or the opposition side, he dies or something tragic happens, you know, we're like, you know, that's bad, you know, thoughts and prayers. shouldn't happen. There's no room for political violence. Like when Trump got shot at, a lot of people on the left side were happy about it, were saying, oh man, the shooter should have been a better shot. You know, like they really want this guy dead. You know, they really want Republicans dead. You know, that's the energy that's on that side.
I mean,
we
Trump,
just, on the right side, we just disagree with you. We don't want you guys dead, though.
Trump posted a picture of Biden tied up in the back of a truck, being, kidnapped and assassinated. Trump put up a picture like that. And I'll tell you what, like when I saw this happen to Charlie Kirk, I pretty much fell to my knees. Seeing that happen made me sick to my stomach. I couldn't move for a little bit. It was traumatizing seeing that. And I've seen every top Democrat, every media pundit for Democrats, far left, centrist, whatever, all condemn the political violence. I saw no one except random ass accounts celebrating it. And I would never blame the entire party for random ass accounts. And I feel like social media shows us the worst of each other. I would just ask that you don't believe the first thing you see online about what your, political opponents might believe, because I've seen nothing but strong condemnations. Maybe some people saying they felt Charlie Kirk's had some racist beliefs or whatever. They can critique Charlie Kirk's beliefs, but I saw no one at all condone Charlie Kirk's death or celebrate it. That's actually, I saw Elon Musk and Trump share like 2 follower Twitter accounts, but I don't think we should base our opinions off of 2 follower Twitter accounts.
Well, this is what I saw from the left when Charlie Kirk.
What is the left, though? What is the left?
Well, the Democrats, the very far liberal people. I heard them all say, Charlie Kirk did not deserve to get shot. And then they go, he's racist, he's this and that, and then they went all off on a tangent. And in the end, they, without saying it, they were like, yeah, he kind of did deserve to get shot. That's the vibe that came out of it towards the end.
I feel like you're putting words in their mouths, though. Like, he doesn't need to deserve it. Political violence is terrible because no one wants that in a system, and it's terrible to see that, especially thinking about his kids and what his kids are going to be seeing when they grow up, knowing what happened to their father. It's really, stomach churning. It's terrible. But we need to be across the board. Like Trump made fun of Biden having cancer. Like Mike Lee from Utah made fun of the Democrats getting assassinated in Minnesota. Like there's a Republican elected officials making fun of this. And meanwhile, Democrats are just saying like, hey, it's terrible what happened, but he was a shitty guy. I think that's fine to say he was a shitty guy. I think he was a shitty guy. I did not like him at all. But like I said, I felt sick as a result. And if Joe Biden passed away, I guarantee you right-wing media would not be nice to his legacy. I mean, they were shitty to Jimmy Carter largely. But like I wouldn't make it. I just don't like the way we're building it up in this grand narrative that I don't think is really there.
And I'll agree with you on that. Maybe both sides has got to kind of tone down, the rhetoric a little bit.
I want Trump to say that though. Trump refuses to do that. I feel like Trump not doing that is probably my biggest issue right now.
Yeah, I mean, maybe a little bit, but, the guy did get shot. You did try to put him in jail. So, I mean, if he's a little rough around the edges, I can kind of understand that a little bit. But, I mean, I don't know. Do you think he's doing a good job, or what do you think about his performance so far?
I mean, with tariffs right now, our farmers, our soybean industry has fallen apart. China buys like 30% of the world's soybeans, and our soybean exports have been cut to like 0. So Trump's tariffs started a trade war with China, and then they cut off our soybean markets. So our farmers need a bailout now, which we're going to pay for by our tariff revenue that American citizens paid for when we import goods from other countries. And now we are giving Argentina $20 billion of our money to bail their economy out because Argentina's economy is a mess. And Argentina is now selling to China, to the former market that America used to sell to. So we are paying for we're paying for Argentina to take our farmers' market to sell their soybeans to China, and we're using tariffs that our people paid for because we get taxed on imports, and we're paying our farmers a bailout because we killed their. Does that make sense at all? I'm sorry, I feel like I'm getting lost here, but
the way you phrase it doesn't seem good for Trump. But $20 billion in the grand scheme of things is not that much money. I figured that was some sort of loan for them to get their economy going. Sounds bad, but at the same time, we spent, $200 billion giving it to Ukraine for a pointless war. So, yeah, it's just redirecting of funds, you know.
Okay. Okay. What about do you support funding Israel?
Here's the thing about Israel. You know, I don't really, you know, I don't condone or necessarily agree with a lot of the stuff that Israel's doing, but we can't really put ourselves in the same situation as Israel. We haven't been attacked in a long time. We have, you know, two oceans between us. Israel is a small country that's surrounded by enemies and is constantly at war. And plus, we need Israel for intelligence and things like that, and maybe keep Iran and some of our enemies busy. So we have a relationship with Israel, and, you know, Israel is our ally. So, you know, kind of got to deal with that relationship the way
I feel like we could use similar logic with Ukraine and Russia, with having a good ally with their economy, their production with food and precious minerals and earth metals. And also, I don't know if you saw, but Trump said a few months ago that Ukraine does not have the cards anymore. There's no cards. They have no chance of fighting back Russia. And then last week, Trump said that Ukraine can take back all of Russia, and maybe, well, not Russia, sorry. Ukraine can take back all of their territory and even parts of Russia. So Trump flipped like a complete 180 on Ukraine, and now we're fully funding Ukraine again. So I'm not sure what happened with him on that.
All right, well, I'll tell you like this. To me, Ukraine is like Russia's version of Cuba for us. It's got to be neutral territory. Like, Ukraine cannot join NATO, you know, because then NATO's going to put their weapons on Ukraine's border, and it's going to be too close for Russia. And that, in that way, it would be the same as the Cuban Missile Crisis when the Russians tried to put nuclear weapons in Cuba. It was too close to home for us. So Ukraine needs to be a neutral territory. If they think they're going to get some territory that was taken back 10 years ago, I mean, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, well, Trump's the one that said that. Even Zelensky looks surprised. But I will say that the nukes in Central or Western European countries can definitely reach Russia. But also, the NATO currently has 6 countries bordering Russia already, which is the big thing where people ask, why would one more country be an issue if we have 6 NATO countries bordering Russia already?
Well, yeah, you got a good point there also. You got a good point there. I mean, true.
No, yeah, I appreciate the conversation, man. Is there a final topic you want to hit on before I hop off here?
Final topic. No, I just want to say, you know, I still fully support Trump. I think he's doing a much better job than Kamala Harris would have done. You know, for all his faults, top three things I agree with is his approach on the economy, his approach on the border, and, you know, I like the fact that he took the trans out of the women's sport. That was a big deal, too. So those 3 things right there, I think he's doing a pretty good job, and I hope to see him keep it going. And he's not going to run again in 2028. He's going to leave. He might be the mayor of D.C., but he's not going to be the president. So.
If Trump ran again, would you support him?
If he ran a 3rd term?
Yeah.
Like, you know, those aren't the rules. I mean, if they modified the rules so it was okay and he was a legit contender, then yeah.
But if he illegally runs again, would you support him?
No, we can't break the rules. We gotta stay within the rules, because, you know, if you make the concession like, oh, I'm going to break the rules when it serves me this time, when the opposition comes, they try to break the rules and it works against you. So, no, we got to stay within the rules. But, you know, yeah, I mean, I would vote for Vance. I would vote for Marco Rubio.
What % of America do you think is trans?
Some people say it's only 1%. But the fact of the matter is, like, this non-binary thing, you know, it's a social contagion. I mean, I heard that whole claiming to be non-binary thing, it jumps from like 2% to like 20% in 20 years or something like that. I mean, I think it's definitely a social contagion, you know, definitely pushing it in the schools, definitely.
Do you think being gay is a social contagion in the same way?
No, I don't think being gay is a social contagion in the same way. I mean, you like what you like, you know, whatever gets your rocks off, whatever you do in your own private setting is one thing, but trying to transform a human being and getting them hooked up on all these SSRIs and all these surgeries for them to go throughout their life with, and basically making them a lab experiment for the rest of their life. That part is wrong to me. That part should not be happening. I don't have a problem with the L.
I'm gonna ask you like rapid fire questions, okay? Do you think we should tax the wealthy more?
I mean, how much more are you going to tax them? You already tax them everything. I mean, people ask like, oh, the rich should pay more, but they never ask what is the government doing with the money that we're paying. You can only tax people so much. Like, I live in Texas. I used to live in Boston. Tax the hell out of you in Boston. You go to Texas, you pay a lot less money in taxes. It's better. So all these states that, like, especially in New York with Mandani over there, like, this guy is like, I'm going to do all this stuff. I'm going to pay off all these programs. And he goes, I'm going to tell people that make $1 million to give me an extra $20,000 a year. And he said it was around an error. Like, those people are going to leave, because they're going to leave for somewhere that's not going to charge them so much money. And then when they leave, the next highest earners are going to have to pay that bill. So you're going to have a mass exodus.
I have a fun stat. So if you made $7,000 a day since Jesus Christ was born, you would not have as much money as Elon Musk.
So are you trying to say Elon Musk is better than Jesus Christ?
Well, apparently we've elevated these billionaires to God status. No, I know it's a joke, but unironically, I feel like we're making these people gods. I feel like my big thing is if someone has $500 billion, I feel like we can do things to take care of our country, even the national debt, to help out with that a little bit. If Elon Musk had 50 billion instead of 500 billion, or 1 billion, or 5 billion, whatever a number would be, I feel like it's enough money to be motivated and to, have enough money to do anything with. I feel like I'd have trouble spending money if I was a millionaire. I don't know what I'd spend money on at that point. So like, I feel like we should be taxing people more, take care of our vets, take care of our national debt. And if we can tax the rich a little bit more, if they want to leave and go live in a dumbass, stupid-ass European country, they can. But they have high taxes too. If they want to live in Russia or China, they can, but they don't want to. I just think we could do a very tiny increase and do a lot of stuff with it, in my opinion. But we don't got to talk about that. I'm just doing some rapid fire questions.
Let me ask you this question, right? All right, let's say for the people in the middle class, right? How much should they be taxed?
So I would do similar
being in the middle class sucks.
Like Bill Clinton did something where he raised taxes for the top 1%. So let's say you make more than $500,000 a year per year, you'd get a pretty decent tax increase. But anybody making under $500,000 would get a tax decrease. So if you're middle class, I'd give you a tax decrease and make the wealthy pay more. Because right now, the bottom 50% of earners in America, that's like we have 10 people in America who own more money. The 10 richest own more money than the bottom 100 million people combined. And I just think for freedom, we can't have a system where one man has more power than 10 million combined. Or we end up losing our freedom because they could buy everything in society and control us, in my opinion.
Well, they can already buy the politicians, so
that's a good point too. If we get money out of politics and if we reduce their money in general and give it back to working people a little bit more, working people can have better lives. We got to have better communities, lower crime rates, better education, better jobs, better healthcare, and then we have less of an issue with them having too much power. Politicians more beholden to the voters and not to their corporate donors. That's one reason I support anti-corruption measures in politics, increasing taxes on the wealthy, not too much to kill the economy, because there is a too much, but I think we're at too low right now. Increase taxes on the wealthy, lower it for the middle and working class, unleash our economy, and all these wealthy people making AI robots to replace us. They should pay back into it to make our country better, because we're giving them money right now to. Our electricity costs right now from AI are up like 35% in America. I don't know if you noticed that on your electricity bill, but we're paying a lot of money for their data centers for AI. And I think they should pay back into this country that gave them this chance to be so successful.
Well, not to get off subject here. Now, I heard that Trump stopped Congress people from trading, insider trading or something.
No. I wish it happened, but no, that never passed, because they so what happened was Trump supported that bill to ban stock trading from Congress, but they added that the president would not be able to trade either, and he now does not support it because he would have had to stop his corruption.
Well, I don't know enough about it to disagree with you, so
Yeah,
I'll
no
give you
worries,
that
no worries.
one. Okay, well, all right, but do you think that, like, so you think if the millionaires, or if the billionaires, the super wealthy, paid more, that would solve everybody's problem?
No, I mean, we have a crippling national debt. Trump's big, beautiful bill is giving us the highest national deficit per year in American history. I think Trump alone has like 30% of our debt. Some was COVID, but also a lot was not COVID. He still spends a lot of money and does not pay for it. Way worse than even Biden or Obama or even Bush, to be honest. And even like he's the worst debt spender in American history. We're paying so much on that interest. We could use that to get our debt ratio down, our debt to GDP ratio down, have a better financed economy, make the American dollar stronger, and we could rebuild our roads and bridges and airports better than ever before, and do all this stuff to make America. We could help the homeless get off the street and get the help they need. We could do so much in this country if we had people pay a little bit higher.
Okay, well, what do you think about all these investments and tariffs he has? Because, I mean, you know, there's a lot of people that have a lot of different thoughts on the tariffs, but according to them, they're thinking these tariffs are going to bring in, I think they said something like $4 trillion in the next 4 years. What are your thoughts on that?
When they say bringing in $4 trillion, my big thing is it's not bringing in anything. That's our tax dollar. So when they say any tariff you see is a tax increase on the American people, now that is to import goods, but I think the number is 99% of small businesses import something, and 100% of big corporations import something. So everything we buy, electricity, even, I don't know, toothpaste, cans of anything, aluminum, copper, which is in pretty much every electrical product, all of that is going to be having a tariff on it. So we're paying those taxes whenever you see that revenue number from tariffs.
Okay. Now, see, I travel for work and I live on the road, so
Okay.
I can't really buy anything. You know what I mean? So I haven't really kept up with prices. The only thing I really keep up with is.
Do you are you a truck driver?
No, I do. I'm a construction worker.
Okay. Do you like drive your own car or a company car?
No, I got a company car.
What make and model is it?
Ford.
Ford.
F-150.
Okay. You might be lucky. I'm not sure what Ford imports, but they probably import less than other countries. Now, Canada and Mexico, those tariffs were kind of turned off for auto. So these are really complicated because they turn them off and on all the time, so it's hard to know which ones are in motion. But in general, I don't like tariffs because we could fund our programs by taxing the wealthy more. I don't want to tax the American people more for this stuff. And if we want to encourage American manufacturing, we should be giving tax credits and subsidies to companies to work in America. The tariffs, I've never seen an example where tariffs worked in any country, so I'd rather do a different strategy if we could.
Okay. Now, I know he's trying to do a lot of things right now, and it's kind of complicated to keep track of. But do you think his tariff plan will work in the end? And when I say in the end, I'm talking about 2 years, 3 years down the road.
I'd say no, and the reason, a big reason I'd say no, other than the tariffs, I don't think they are affected by themselves. So like for tariffs to work, you probably need tariffs, like smaller tariffs, and also subsidies or tax credits on the other end for businesses in America to operate for cheaper, because you're making their prices more expensive with tariffs and everything. So you'd probably use the tariffs to fund subsidies for companies on the other end as well. It's like the carrot and the stick approach. Companies usually make plans for 5 years or 10 years down the road to move an entire supply chain or even one factory. One factory takes maybe 3 to 5 years. A supply chain takes 5 to 10 years. So you wouldn't see any impact from these tariffs until 5 years down the road. And since Trump did it and it's not an actual law passed by Congress, companies right now are saying, hey, Trump's doing these tariffs, but he's gonna be gone by 2028. So unless if Trump actually negotiates with Congress and gets an actual law passed, you know what I mean? Like if the president does it by himself, that could be turned on and off by any president. So if you're a company making a 10-year investment, why would you put money up for something you think is probably going to change in 5 years, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, you know, I'm just a regular guy. You know, I don't know as much about this
No,
stuff.
that's cool. I spend too much time looking at politics. It's not healthy looking at politics this much, but yeah.
No, tell me about it. But I don't know. I mean, just me. I feel like you should give him a shot and see how it goes. I don't think it's really going to get much worse. I still think overall we're in better shape with him than Miss Harris over there. And especially being a construction worker, it's better to have the border closed because it protects my paycheck. I've actually gotten a raise since he became president. So, me, from a personal standpoint, I like him as a president. In conclusion, basically, I don't think he's as bad as people say. Like, I was on the airplane from California last week, and this lady was sitting next to me, and she was like, I'm scared of what Trump's going to do and this and that. And she was, like, totally freaking out. I don't think the guy's that bad where everybody's got to freak out, you know. But I think it's worth a shot and see where it goes. I mean, last time he was president, you know, people, middle, lower class, they had a lot more money. So we'll see how it goes.
Okay, well, my main goal, I know I'm not going to convince you in one conversation, but my main goal for people on the radical parts of politics, whether far left or far right, is to keep them in the game so we don't, like, hate each other as Americans. I think that's one place we can't go, which is why I really speak out against Trump's rhetoric after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, because, like, before we even knew who did it, Donald Trump was talking about the radical left doing it. And are you familiar with the person who killed Ronald Reagan? Or not killed, but sorry. Are you familiar with the person who tried to kill Ronald Reagan?
Not too much. I heard he shot him. He did 30 years or something. I think he's out now playing the banjo or something. And I guess he was linked to what's that? MK Ultra or something.
Well, I don't know about that, but the guy's reasoning when he went crazy for trying to shoot Ronald Reagan and actually being successful, although Reagan did not die, his reasoning was he tried to impress a famous actress that he was in love with. And he never met this famous actress. He never met this famous actress, but he was in love with her, and he thought she wanted him to go shoot Ronald Reagan to get her attention. I bring that story up so people don't look at these mass shooters and say, oh, he's a Republican. Oh, he's a Democrat. It's usually not that simple. These people are crazy. Their beliefs are all over the place. They usually are not Democrats or Republicans, because normal people that would be a Democrat or a Republican would never do something like that. So it usually is some crazy mother trucker. So, like, we can talk about if rhetoric's violent somewhere. But whenever there's someone saying, it's like I said before, my biggest worry right now is no one should ever say Democrats killed Charlie Kirk, liberals killed Charlie Kirk, they did this. In the same way, I'm not going to say Republicans shot up that place in El Paso or that Mormon church in Michigan, you know?
Yeah, you got a good point there. I mean, because every time, you know, a shooting happens, that's the first thing people say was Republican, Democrat, when, you know, they probably are just crazy. So, yeah, you got a point there.
Hey, man, I appreciate the conversation. I've actually noticed in the past few weeks that there's been a lot less people willing to call in who disagree, so I really appreciate you taking time out. You called for almost 50 minutes, so yeah, I really appreciate you taking this time out tonight.
Hey, good talk, man. You know, it's good to have a civil discourse and hear other people's side, you know, see how they feel about things. So, you know, you don't really get a lot of that in real life. They either storm off on you or, you know, throw a finger in the face.
Well, that's the issue. We don't talk in person anymore. We believe the versions of each other social media tells us to believe, and they make money when we fight each other.
Yep, and they're doing a pretty good job of it, unfortunately.
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate the call. Hope you have a good night, man.
Hey, you too.
All right, peace.
Bye.
All right, who's going to edit that for me? Because that was a good one. I'll send you the VOD. Who's going to work for free? I need free slave labor. How are you guys doing in chat? Thank you for watching. Please comment. Please subscribe. Thank you for watching. Caller was infuriating, but good convo. That was an actual American, okay? That guy, out of every caller I've spoken to, is probably the most representative of a regular Trump supporter that anyone has ever heard about on the internet. Okay, I'm just saying, I've seen internet debates you guys watch, that I watch as well. They are never that normal. And that's a good thing, right? It's a good thing. AOC and Bernie are so cute, dude. Morgan Todd, I enjoy watching your videos more than other left-leaners fake debating. The gaslighting is disgraceful. I think they're just autistic, to be honest. I'm a little bit autistic too. I don't know. Their conversation style is a little bit. People talk in a very liberal way. Sir, please don't use that microaggression, sir. Don't say the F slur, sir. Sir, we have to use certain language here, sir. Sir, that was racist, sir. Sir, that's very, sir. I can't stand liberals, okay? I'm just saying. I'm actually pissed all the time listening to everyone right now. Looking at Bernie and AOC makes me upset. Like, seeing Bernie and AOC killing it, and Democrats are controlled by Hakeem Jeffries makes me want to cry. Like, bro. Like, what the hell's going on? What are we doing? What are we doing here, bro? What kind of... Tires. Thank you. Oh, thank you, L, for $10. And thank you, Sri, for $5. Thank you, guys. I saw L trying to donate, and it wasn't working for L during that conversation. The struggle was real. The struggle was real. Patron. Become a patron. Oh, someone donated on Cash App, too. Portia. Oh, that's from the other day. The other day she donated. Thank you. What's wrong with liberals is they are consultant dominated and dominated by wealthy people with their heads up their own asses, so they can't actually make adjustments to beat whatever this is, to win against this stuff. Alright, guys. Thank you for watching. I went for... How long did I stream for tonight? An hour and a half? You guys are spoiled. That's a half hour longer than I usually go. I'm happy I got on here again. Thank you for watching. Hey, this...
My name is Wesley Lawrence Curry II. I'm in Huntington, West Virginia. Trump shall become one of the 10 horns of Satan. Today he is not, but he shall become one of the 10 horns of Satan and force the branding of flesh with what is called the Omni barcode. When? During Trump's presidency, a nuclear bomb shall detonate in the city of Chicago. A nuclear bomb in a circular device that spins and makes a terrible ringing, making the fire unfolding in itself. It is the wheel in the middle of the wheel in Ezekiel. It's built in a green Volvo. It shall be parked in the twin corncob towers in Chicago. The detonation shall melt one of those buildings and saturate the city with radiation, and all in Chicago shall be forced to evacuate. That day, hell begins.
Good voicemails. Everything's AI now, dude. Thank you for doing such a good job, or doing a good job in teaching us or teaching the MAGA people about real things in real life on Fox News. Thank you. Yeah, my show format could pop off. But I'm too much of a loser. Why do they look like dirty? Okay.
Come here!
AI is terrible, bro. So there's a debate on if Democrats can get Republican voters, because John Fetterman right now is polling really well with Republicans in Pennsylvania. He has an overall plus 12 in Pennsylvania, which is much higher than Trump's. And he's at a 33-54 for Democrats, but a 62-21 for Republicans. So he's polling really well with Republicans and really bad with Democrats. John Fetterman. And this opinion here, not a Fetterman fan, not a Fetterman fan by any margin, but his 62-21 approval among Republicans, while mostly voting Democrats, does show the idea a Democrat can't win Republican voters is false. But like the thing is, you need to be an anti-Democrat and support Israel, I guess? I don't freaking know. I don't know. I don't think it proves that much. I hate Ezra Klein. I love Ezra Klein. Go to bed, guys. Thank you for watching. I'm a hero and a champion. Thank you. TDS? This system of democracy is gonna crash. Well, they always do. If you look at all human history and you try to find which periods have economic and political freedom and like a democracy, it's like 0.0001% of human history. Like, democracies are very rare. Democracies are incredibly rare, dude. And we're about to go backwards, baby. Yeah. Am I still heard here? If I had a more angry conversation style, that person I just spoke to would not know any of this information, especially like the Ukraine point and a few other points. He wouldn't even consider these viewpoints if I had a more confrontational, aggressive style. And it's true, most liberals would approach that person and start yelling right away. They would start yelling. And I understand that idea, but you're talking to people who largely don't know what they're supporting. Largely. Even if they do it for bad reasons, they have not seen a better model of how to live yet. And the best way to maximize your return of political capital is probably this aggressive, good faith, but still kind approach where you hold people accountable for their beliefs, but you let them know that I'm not going to really hold it against you and hate you and make fun of you if you get something wrong. Like, that guy did not back down from the conversation. He kept asking more questions. He admit when he didn't know things. We should be encouraging that very greatly. But I don't see any examples of that broadly in media, because the media that does get popular is the more aggressive, abrasive stuff. And I feel bad too, because I want to take clips from this conversation and I want to put it on TikTok and make clips of it. And I know that the comments are going to call him a dumb Trump supporter, which I don't disagree with them. But I don't talk to people like that normally. But the internet and the current era of politics makes us. You're allowed to think people are dumb. He can call me dumb. I'm not going to be offended. He just doesn't like what I say, or he has different beliefs. But the full dehumanization of politics is really scary. And I understand why people do it in response to dehumanization and indecency. But we need to still treat people as humans, even if they're imperfect, even if they are considered to be bad humans under your worldview. There's still a humanity that needs to be tracked. Okay, guys. Have a good night. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys watching. 900 joules. Thank you for 900 joules. I love watching Nick Fuentes. I've been copying his mannerisms because he's so smart. $10 joules, $2 joules, 10 more joules. 10 more joules. Fuentes is very popular with all the girls and the youth and everyone, really, for good reason too, because he's very smart and intelligent. Both smart and intelligent. Deadly combination. Stephen Miller says, we are going to attack Memphis with guns, shoulder to shoulder, with ATF, DEA, FBI, ICE, Department of War. So, like, right now, if they send in all these agencies to Memphis, there's going to be enough pushing where they do get a violent event to happen. If they poke people... Alright guys, have a good night. See you guys, have a good night. Join Discord. Donate to politics, Jola Politics, and join Patreon. Donate to Patreon and be my friend, please. Please be my friend, please. Please be my friend. Oh my goodness, please. Alright, have a good night, guys. Goodbye. See you again someday.